was a nightmare with you?
No, the third.
The third?
Did you sign anything?
That's a small block too, right?
Yeah, the last 351, yeah.
See, this is a little different. But see, this is a different car. But if you get the opportunity to get the car up in the air, yeah, the Superformance was built a little differently. Up in here is where that bolt is that holds that. Wow. And when you go to put them on, you have to hit it with the hammer, and when you put it up, poof. And that's why we put the instead of the cast sand cast one, we put the
It's a blessing it didn't lose all three, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
That would have been really difficult to remove.
That's one language. This is another language.
Yeah.
This would be the third one we don't want to say.
Yeah, that's the
intake's looking really nice. The old style intake too.
wow.
Yeah, that's
it looked old school. It didn't look like.
Yeah, it's not the normal intake. It's an old carburetor setup. So this is really nice. These ZFs are almost impossible to find now. This original style gearbox that they put back in the day that came with the GT40s back in the day for the Mark 1s anyway.
It looks pretty modern, to be honest. To be.
He had somebody clean it up, go through it, and paint it because they don't look like that nice.
Yeah, I was gonna say it does.
A lot of work to fit these things in. The problem is everybody wants something different, so everything's a custom install.
But this is around like an 8 to 10K.
No, not the carburetor one. I don't know how much the carburetor one. The fuel injected one, yeah, it's about 8 to 10.
But the fuel injected needs a computer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the carburetor, I'm not sure if it's less or more. I won't be able to tell you. The carburetor's probably less, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would imagine too.
But,
a lot less parts to deal with.
Yeah. But they're kind of a pain to tune, but thankfully most of the tuning is done by the engine builder, so we don't normally worry a lot unless they're really far off. We've had a couple cars that come in here not even close on the tuning. So
because of the weather probably here that we have.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that or whatever, because we've had a couple engines here that we dump in so much fuel the car barely.
Wow.
I mean, your eyes will get watery. It's running so rich. So
even that, I felt like that. I didn't need to pump it with throttle. I felt like it was kind of choky.
Yeah, like I said, Dennis is not my carburetor guy because I'm so used to fuel injection from all of my racing background. It's all fuel injected. So Dennis is normally the one that deals with all the carburetor tuning, and now Mike's a new guy. He just started a few months ago, so he'll probably be taking over a lot of that. Because all I've ever done is fuel injection. I can rebuild carburetors, but I can't tune them.
Yeah. Well, to tune them, I guess you need to drive them, right? You need to drive it, come back.
It's kind of an art form too, because these guys can almost go by just by listening to it. And by feel, they can adjust pretty close. Where I gotta have a laptop pretty much, otherwise I come nowhere.
Yeah, I gotta drive it. I can't adjust carbs based on idle sound, because it can sound great on idle, and then you drive.
That's the thing. That's the thing. You adjust everything in idle, and then you start driving, and then you start making adjustments from there.
I those little ones too.
I got a bunch of curtains back here too. You got a little everything in here.
Really? You got some more stuff in there?
Well, I loaded up the prototypes. The 2 prototypes are loaded up in the trailer.
Nice.
I have to pull the gearbox out. The gearbox is sitting on the bench for years. Lola T7, Lola brand new GT4 has been sitting forever.
It's not an original Lola, is it?
No, it's actually built by a guy, McClendon in Jacksonville, and he builds exact copies. But actually now he's semi-retired. He only works like 2 days a week. So it's getting really hard to get stuff. But he used to sell the complete Roman chassis for 150 minus the engine and transmission. Got a lot of the black number 2s here.
This is a nice.
It's a 77 308 Ferrari. We had a new engine we put in it, and we went and run it in Wisconsin, Road America. And the freaking thing was, he said, as fast as it's ever been. And the thing was so fast it ran out of gear. So unfortunately, one of the cylinder sleeves.
He basically made this Cobra into like a track toy. He changed it into.
This was actually built by a company in Alabama. They only built 2, and they only built like pretty much purpose built for racing. As you can see, it has no doors. It's all one piece, no doors. And a lot of the panels are like what they call Zeus fasteners, or quick release. Quick release, so it's like easier to work on. It's got a 4.9-inch rear end, which is a lot beefier. So this thing's like purpose built for racing only. It's meant to look. It looks like a Cobra, but
not really.
It's like purpose built for racing only, pretty much.
Yeah, the whole thing.
It's a quick car, and he just recently bought it. He hasn't driven it yet. It belonged to another one of our customers, Frank Markham, but he hasn't driven it in probably a couple of years now.
Is there a reason they do the windshield like this for the?
Just aero.
Just aero. Okay.
Less drag.
It's not a safety issue or anything. It's just aero.
No, this is less drag. You pretty much you can run without a windshield, but you have some windshield. You force the air over the top of this instead of trying to crash into this. Pretty much. Although probably with the turbulence in here, the air will probably go over the top anyway. But limited windshield. A lot of people just have the windshield in front of the driver because you just want the air to go over your helmet because you don't want your helmet.
You don't want your head to keep
Yeah, you
flying
don't want to be buffeting around. And which a lot on the prototypes, I just had a windscreen about this tall.
That's what mine has. It's like
that's
this
all I have.
big,
Yeah.
and that's all I need.
That's all you
That's
need,
all I
just
need.
enough to get the air over your helmet.
It gets it way over my helmet.
Yeah.
Like I don't even feel it anymore.
But yeah, but like I said, we got everything. So Mustangs, we got 2 Mustangs that are for sale, GT350s. I think they're clones, they're not real ones. 2002 BMW, we have a couple of those as well.
Nice.
We got to deliver everything in here, it's insane.
No, that's cool. Really cool.
Yeah.
Nice, nice setup you have. I see the
GT40.
You can see.
They just keep piling up seats here. When we build race cars, we end up with a bunch of leftover parts.
This is something serious.
Yeah, this actually is what was in the Cobra.
Oh wow.
But the guy that sold the car wants the seat because he likes the seat, so he wants to put it in whatever other car he's going to drive.
Okay.
So he likes to have the protection, side protection on the head.
Yeah.
It's kind of tricky to get in when you see that Cup car got a similar setup, and it's kind of hard to get in now because this thing sticks out so far.
Yeah.
He owned another car. He owned the Walt. What's the Australian driver? He owned one, but it wasn't as fast as this one. This one looks a little more beat up, so this thing is quick.
Yeah.
He actually was able to beat what's his name, Joe Nemechek. Joe Nemechek normally wins all the races, but he was actually able to beat Joe Nemechek in one of the races. Wow, which is not too many people that can claim that. So it's a quick car.
That's cool.
The guy said it's actually one of the fastest cars he's built. So
I feel like value for money, these are pretty good.
they are
Because of maintenance and cost.
especially when Dodge shut down the racing program, they got stuck with a bunch of engines. So you were able to buy those engines for like $5,500 for like 800 horsepower engine.
Wow.
People said, "Oh man." Or even the Chevys and the Fords, they were putting Dodges in them because they could get them for like $5,500. They get a brand new motor.
Because a whole car like this, what do they cost nowadays? Like 40?
I don't even know.
30?
It just depends on the history.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I was looking at something like this before the Radical, and they looked like they're a lot more cost effective.
They're not bad. We haven't really taken care of too many of these.
Okay.
Where it starts getting expensive is the engines. But if you start getting something like I said, Dodges are cheap because they had a bunch of them and they just started selling them, so you can get those cheap. But when you start getting different engines like the Fords and the Chevys, mainly the Fords, that's when price starts skyrocketing on those things because they got a lot of trick technology in them, and you got to pay for all that.
Well, this is cool.
They actually, another thing that people like, they have a really good really big group now, so you can go out there. They got their own group because they got so many of them.
Yeah, that's
So
nice.
instead of being out there with like 3 or 4 separate groups, where a bunch of them are slower than you, now they're all in the same class and the same type of car. So you out there have some fun with like 20 cars, however many they have out there on the field.
If I decide to track it, I'll definitely
We'll just
start asking questions
We'll
then.
just put the normal brake fluid in it. That's the only time it makes a difference. Depending on what cam is in it, you'll have to run high zinc or normal fluid.
I'm in love. I don't need to put a fan in the front, right?
It has fans in the back.
In the back, yeah. Because I've seen some of them with a fan in the front and all that stuff. But...
The fans in the front are period correct.
Okay, so
They're not very good at cooling.
Okay.
So that's why Superformance uses these that have a radiator strap.
Yeah, like a regular radiator fan.
Yeah, it's right here, Katkut, because it's so easy to put your leg out the car and just tag it. And with this, millisecond, if you touch it in like a millisecond, it's gonna immediately burn. When you get in one of these cars, it's easier to do this. You open the door, okay. You step in, you put your hand here, and you put your hand behind you, and you pick up and in.
Yeah.
Same thing, then you pick up,
Yeah.
out, and then you go out, like that, and you won't hit it.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Scotty.
You're gonna, you know how to drive, okay? So you're gonna.
I mean, I'm okay. I'm not Michael Schumacher, but
No,
I'm
no,
all right.
no.
I'm okay.